everybody, Brent back with you. Thanks for stopping by the channel. So I am finally sitting down and hitting record, and I'm going to start a project, if you want to call it that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. So I like to display my cards. I don't want to say necessarily uniquely or differently, but the way that I approach it is maybe a bit different than others. Whereas a lot of people, if they have the ability or the space, like to put their cards like in a case where they're just, one after the other like that. And I love that. I don't have that, nor have I pursued that option, but most will present it that way, or maybe on a shelf, what have you. I realized when and I'm blessed to have a office where I have the ability to do this, but I realized that I have a propensity of displaying my cards in a certain way. And what I mean by that is, if I display a card or cards, I need to have something with it. Now, what is that something? Well, that's going to be kind of the impetus behind this video series. How I display my cards and why I display them the way that I do. And I am a bit, I don't even know if I want to call it OCD, but just the way that I present and display my cards, I find a lot of enjoyment in doing it. And I showed a video, gosh, it has to have been at least 3 to 4 years ago. I think it was a video response for Jake Legends Never Die, showing my card room. And my card room is in flux, whether it be just because I'm moving things around, because it's also my office. But I like to keep my displays fresh, and I rotate them a lot. And I figured one day, as I was rotating them, I should show you great folks how I do this and why I do it. But instead of going through my room and showing them how they are, I thought I would just take a video by video series example of the specifics as to how and why I display my cards. So in this introduction, I'm going to turn the camera around and show you a couple of ways and reasons that I display my cards, and thought I would start the series on a pretty basic, but give you an idea, and I'll kind of give a teaser as to some of the other videos I'm going to be making. But this will be fun for me. Even if, nobody ends up watching these or whatever, I enjoy more, besides the collecting, just the enjoyment of the cards themselves. I probably get the most joy out of how I display them and why I display them. And I try to have them in a way where I can see them from where I sit at my desk in my office. And I get a lot of joy out of it. So I thought I would share some of the ways and give you some ideas maybe as well. Maybe I'll spur some, creativity in your displays, or maybe kind of give you that push that maybe you're looking for, or maybe you didn't know you needed to display your cards differently, or to start displaying your cards. At the end of the day, I don't want to have my cards just sitting in a box or sitting in a binder. I want to have them out so I can see them, I can enjoy them, and the way that I display them will often tell a story. So enough blabbing. I'm going to turn this around, and we're going to look at a couple of examples, and then we're going to kick off this series. All right, let's do it. All right, so here we are. And as most of you know, on this channel, a lot of my videos I make have to make while I'm on the road, because I am a traveling restaurant consultant. And when I am traveling via car, often I will take some cards with me. And I am up here north in Spokane, about 2 hours north of where I live. So I'm able to bring some cards with me. I go, you know what? I want to and need to make this video and get this series started. So that's why I have a bit of a travel version of what I'm going to show you, but this will make sense in a moment. So the 1933 Goudey set, my goodness, maybe, arguably, another video, another time, maybe one of the best sets ever made for baseball, vintage baseball. And that's what I'm going to showcase here first for this first example of how I display my cards. And this is a display that I currently have in my office, and I've taken it on the road with me. A bit of a road show, if you will. So first off, we're going to, 3 Hall of Famers, by the way, coming at you. So prepare for that. First off, 1933, beautiful Goudey Goose Goslin in an SGC3. Gorgeous. And you're going to see a theme here as well in a moment, besides them all being 1933 Goudeys. Next off, we have the 1933 Goudey of Mr. Joe Cronin. Joseph Cronin, if you will. Put him here on the right. Okay. Now, the elevated spot goes to number 134 in the set. That is Sam Rice. Should have taken it out of this protector, but there is Sam Rice in a beautiful 4. My goodness. My. So we'll put Mr. Rice up there. Now, as you can see, besides them being 1933 Goudeys and all being respectively beautiful and among themselves, they are all a part of the Washington Senators. If you have had the opportunity to see some of my videos in the past, you will know I'm a Washington Senators collector, mainly in part to my Harmon Killebrew collection and also my fondness of Mr. Walter Johnson. So I have, over the years, become a bit of a Washington Senators vintage collector. So the 3 of these being in my collection makes a lot of sense for me. But I'm also blessed to have these examples in this set of 3 Hall of Famers who are on the Washington Senators. Both Goose Goslin and Joe Cronin went on to play for other teams, the Tigers and the Red Sox specifically. Mr. Sam Rice in the middle was predominantly a Washington Senator the last year. He played with the Cleveland Indians. So as you can see, there is 1 holder left, and this is where I'm going to showcase my first example of how I display my cards, and that's when I have 2 or more cards that are tied together with a single card. So there's 1 card that I've been able to acquire, and this is, I've had these 3 cards for quite a while, but this last card I've recently picked up in the last few months that tie all 3 of these together beautifully, I may add. And this is from 2020 Panini Flawless. This is the Triple Legends card. And as you can see, we have Goose Goslin, Sam Rice, and Joe Cronin, all represented together as the Washington Senators. And these are game used and or worn for these respective players. Numbered 11 out of 25. That really doesn't matter to me. Doesn't even matter that it's graded. I just saw this card and I remember making an offer. I think it had been there for a while. I didn't even know it existed. And because I realized this ties these 3 cards in wonderfully and perfectly. So this is my first example of tying a collection together. Call this the proverbial rug of the dude. It really ties the display together. So this is my first example, and I'm going to clear the table here and show you my next example. All right. Okay, here we are. We have a trio of cards that I'm going to showcase you now, and we're going to transfer from the 1933 Goudey set to another beautiful set in the 1960s, the 1963 Topps. And again, we're going to showcase some Hall of Famers. This time, we're going to start with number 380, Ernie Banks. Beautiful SGC 5.5. Nice centering on this one. Big fan. Big fan of the blue and red there to go with it. And next we have 10 cards up in the set. Number 390, Mr. Henry Aaron. and one of the best looking ones you're ever going to see. I recently picked this up just a couple weeks ago, and I saw this and I jumped on it. And it's a one because there is a notorious pinhole right there. Not a big deal to me. Looks beautiful though. Look at that, in a one. Put Mr. Hank Aaron there. And then, if you're familiar with the 1963 set, you might know what card I'm going to show next. But this beautifully ties these cards together because it is a gorgeous combo card of Ernie and Hank, number 242, Power Plus, in an SGC5. So just another example of combos. This is how I love to display my cards. Sometimes I have some ceramic bases at home that can elevate cards. So this one might be elevated. But there you have it. This is my first foray into how I display my cards. Hope you've enjoyed this, and definitely look for more videos to come where I will be giving a lot of different examples of how I combine cards with objects, other cards, artwork, pictures, books, you name it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I appreciate you watching as always, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.